This place is called Death Valley. It's named for the obstacles it posed to those traveling by foot and by horse and wagon en route to California in search of gold and riches over 150 years ago. What makes this place so inhospitable? Is it the irrepressible heat and blazing sun? The lack of readily available water? The blasting winds that commonly tear across the valley floor? Or is it the lack of vegetation that makes this place so harsh? Despite all these factors, this place is surprisingly full of life, both plant and animal life. During the next few minutes, we're going to explore deserts, like the one here in Death Valley, as well as another type of biome, the tundra. Deserts are found throughout the world in very arid regions. Most desert regions are located between 20 and 30 degrees north latitude and between 20 and 30 degrees south latitude. The world's largest desert, the Sahara, is nearly the size of the United States. While less than 5% of North America is desert, about 14% of the world's landmass is desert. There are several major deserts in North America, including the Chihuahuan Desert in northern Mexico and Texas, the Mojave Desert in California and Nevada, and the Sonoran Desert that spans across Arizona, California, and into Mexico. During the next few minutes, we're going to explore the characteristics of a few of these deserts and take a closer look at desert climate and the plants and animals of these desert biomes. As you may recall, climate is the overall weather of an area. Climate is critical in determining the nature of deserts. You decide. How much water do deserts receive in a year? Generally speaking, deserts receive less than 25 centimeters of water per year. Many deserts receive much less than this. In this part of the Sonoran Desert, rain usually falls in the summer and winter months. But surprisingly, at times, rainfall can be so heavy that water rushes through gullies such as this one. Temperature also plays a big role in determining the nature of deserts. For example, the temperatures in Death Valley can be the most severe in North America, exceeding 130 degrees Fahrenheit, or 54 degrees Celsius. However, in winter months at higher elevations, temperatures fall below the freezing point. Deserts also tend to have large fluctuations in temperature between day and night, with the difference between high and low temperatures exceeding 77 degrees Fahrenheit, or 25 degrees Celsius. Although you may commonly think of deserts as being sandy, most are not. In fact, the soil in some deserts, when given sufficient water, can grow fruits and vegetables, as well as a wide variety of colorful flowers. In some cases, a tough layer of pebbles and hardened soil forms desert pavement, making the growth of new seeds difficult. In many locations, such as in Death Valley, salts and other compounds make soil inhospitable to all but a few plants. In other desert areas, a thin mixture of algae and lichens called cryptogam holds the soil in place. You decide. What makes this cactus different from this tree? If you said that the cactus does not have leaves, then you're right. While not all desert plants lack leaves, many do. This lack of leaves is one adaptation common to many desert plants. An adaptation is a trait that increases an organism's chance of survival. The lack of leaves helps prevent water loss in this arid environment. Cactuses also have spines, which protect their moisture-rich tissue from being eaten by most animals. Because this saguaro cactus does not have leaves, it carries out photosynthesis through its trunk and arms. Although this tree grows leaves during moist times of the year, it drops its leaves in dry weather and carries out photosynthesis through its green bark. Water is the main factor that limits plant growth in the desert. The ability to store water and to use it when needed is another adaptation common to many desert plants. For example, saguaro cactuses can store as much as 200 gallons or over 750 liters of water in their trunk and arms, which expand and shrink according to the cactus's current water needs. Desert plants also have many different adaptations that enable them to reproduce in this arid environment. For example, flowers such as these Mexican poppies bloom very quickly in response to the availability of moisture. And this fruit chain cholla cactus reproduces by breaking off pieces of branches that take root to develop into a new plant. Many desert plants produce large numbers of seeds, with the possibility of a single one germinating and developing into an adult. A saguaro cactus, for instance, may produce tens of thousands of small seeds each year. The hummingbird is one of the Sonoran Desert's most beautiful and smallest birds. With a heart rate of 1,200 beats per minute, this bird plays an important role in pollinating plants. Another bird that lives in the Sonoran Desert is the Harrison hawk. As the Harrison hawk soars above the desert, it uses its keen eyesight and well-developed sense of smell to locate food. Roadrunners, like this one, have the ability to run at speeds of up to 15 miles per hour, or 24 kilometers per hour. In addition to a wide variety of birds, many kinds of mammals live in the desert, such as the coyote. Coyotes are highly adaptable animals. They have the ability to eat almost anything, from dead animals to saguaro cactuses. The bobcat, seen here, feeds on smaller animals that live in the desert, such as snakes and rodents. You decide. What desert animal has the ability to eat prickly cactuses? Javelinas live off the vegetation in the desert and even have the ability to eat prickly cactuses. There are also many smaller animals that live in the desert. This lizard, called a fringe-toed lizard, is ideally suited to living in desert sand dunes. These lizards often dive into the sand to escape predators. The Sonoran Desert also has the world's most diverse population of rattlesnakes. Some species of large rattlesnakes can reach lengths of nearly 6 feet, or 2 meters. Rattlesnakes feed primarily on rodents. The snakes use poisonous venom to subdue their prey. The Sonoran Desert is also inhabited by many smaller, yet very important, invertebrate animals, including several different species of ants. You decide. What are these ants doing with this leaf? Colonies of leafcutter ants gather leaves, which they drag into underground burrows, where fungus grows on the leaves, serving as food for the colony. Therefore, it can be said that leafcutter ants are fungus farmers. Bees are among the many different kinds of insects in the desert. There are dozens of different kinds of bees, which play an important role in pollinating plants. Far north of the desert biome lies the Arctic tundra biome. Even though the desert and the tundra are very far from each other, they're similar in that they both receive little precipitation. As with deserts, the Arctic tundra receives less than 25 centimeters of precipitation per year. For this reason, the tundra is often referred to as a cold desert. Generally speaking, the tundra has a cold, dry climate. Much of the moisture remains frozen within the soil throughout the year. Even in the summer, only a thin layer of the upper soil thaws, while the lower layer remains permanently frozen. This phenomenon is referred to as permafrost. Because water cannot readily drain through the frozen soil, it remains on the surface, forming ponds and wet bogs. Great seasonal variations in sunlight occur in the tundra. Days are very short in the winter months, but in summer months, days are very long, with light existing well past midnight. Similar to the Arctic tundra is the alpine tundra, the region found on mountaintops above tree line. Alpine vegetation is often found on mountains which are located at latitudes well below the Arctic tundra biome. Yet they still possess many of the plants and animals found in the Arctic tundra. Cold temperatures, low levels of precipitation, strong winds, and few nutrients make life difficult for tundra plants. A short growing season of less than 60 days limits the type and size of plants that live in the tundra. Generally speaking, plants of the Arctic and alpine tundra are low-lying plants. Although trees do grow, they are often short and twisted, as are these conifers. Lichens commonly grow on rocks. Lichens actually consist of a mixture of algae and fungus and serve as an important food source for caribou. Mosses are another common low-lying plant of the tundra. Grasses and sedges survive where soil is abundant enough for seeds to take root. In the tundra, when the weather warms, different kinds of wildflowers quickly blossom and rapidly produce seeds during the short growing season. If you were to visit the Arctic tundra in the summer, chances are you'd be swarmed by insects, including biting mosquitoes and black flies. The large amount of insect life attracts many different species of breeding birds, such as the red knot. Red knots fly over 3,000 miles, or 5,000 kilometers, from southern South America to the Arctic tundra every spring. And snow geese come by the tens of thousands to breed in the spring. The ptarmigan is one of the few year-round residents. Other larger mammals, such as the caribou, tend to migrate in and out of the tundra, spending summers on the tundra and migrating to the more sheltered coniferous forests in winter. During the past few minutes, we've explored many of the different characteristics of deserts. We've studied where deserts are located throughout the world, including the locations of some of the deserts in North America. We took a look at the climate of deserts, as well as some of the plants and animals that inhabit deserts. We also took a quick look at the tundra biome. We explored why the tundra is often called a cold desert, and we talked about some of the plants and animals that survive in the tundra biome. So the next time you see a photo of the desert or the tundra, Think about some of the things you learned during the past few minutes. You just might look at these biomes a little differently. Fill in the correct word when you hear this tone. Good luck, and let's get started. Number 1. Deserts generally receive less than centimeters of precipitation. Number 2. Most deserts are found between 20 and degrees latitude. Number 3. An is a trait that increases an organism's chance of survival. Number 4. Cactuses conduct photosynthesis in their Number 5. Deserts tend to have fluctuations in temperature. Number 6. Only about % of the world's land mass is desert. Number 7. Is the limiting factor affecting plant growth in the desert. Number 8. The tundra is sometimes called a desert. Number 9. Many animals to and from the tundra. And number 10. Tundra plants grow to the ground.